Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 248 of Verbal Graffiti with your host, Brian Glass, a.k.a. the B-Man, the People's Degenerate. The last day of school energy is what I'm bringing to you, the Internet, this episode 248. That is a lie. Nay. That is a impossibility because I cannot bring that energy to you. It's impossible. The last day of school energy is so magical that you know exactly what that energy entails when I just announce it. Last day of school. Half day. You get out early. That's what a half day is. You go to your friend's house. You have a pool party on the last day of school. Has there ever been a grape soda that's tasted better than the grape soda you have at the pool party on the last day of school? That is the best grape soda. That is the most tastiest, grapiest tasting soda beverage you'll ever have in your life. And I can do everything within my power to bring that energy to you, the audience, the viewers, the listeners of Verbal Graffiti. I'll fail. Doesn't mean I won't try, but I will inevitably fail because you can't have last day of school energy when you have permanent bags under your eyes and you have a 401k that you put into bi-weekly with your bi-weekly paycheck. Those things don't go together. Bags under the eye and last day of school energy. I wish I could capture it, though, because those days are memorable. Those 1st through 12th grade, especially the first 5 or 6, when you're pre-puberty and that last day of school, the party and eternal summers. What's going to happen, not having to wake up early? I wish I could have those days every day. It would lose its luster, though. That's what makes the last day of school energy shine so bright, is that you only get 12 of them at max. Maybe you get your GED and you only had 10 or 11 of them. Man, I was just thinking about that today. Because I'm doing some filming wearing a tank top. I usually don't wear a tank top. Oddly enough, tank tops with the condom pocket make me feel uncomfortable. But being topless is my natural state, is when I feel most comfortable. I feel like I'm mogging everybody when I'm walking around shirtless, and that's what I'm doing in my neighborhood. And I'm just wearing a tank top because I'm doing some filming for a short film that will be out, TBD, to be determined, a.k.a. B-Man, get to the editing. You've done all the filming. Stop being a lazy bum and get on the Final Cut Pro. Clip, paste. I'll try. I'll get it out to you, hopefully, within the next month. If I don't, kick the bucket. But I was just wearing, this is part of that. But I was realizing today that I'm mogging my neighborhood. I'm doing the shirtless thing aggressively this summer. I jump in the pool, my mother's pool. I walk my sister's dog topless. Shirt off, just some running shorts. That's it. I don't have for a skinny guy, decent chest, no six-pack, a little bit of fat around the belly. It's not unappealing, but it's certainly not appealing to the naked eye of a stranger in my neighborhood seeing me that way. But man, I'm mogging this neighborhood. I own this hood. This block, I walked around it 3 times today with my shirt off at all hours of the day. 11 a.m., 3 p.m., 7 p.m. I'll probably take another walk after this, 11 p.m., and I'll do it with my shirt off. All the mothers, all the fathers, all the toddlers. I was walking today with my shirt off, and there was a little boy. He must have been elementary school. In chipper mood, right? Because it's nearly the last day of school for him, so he's all jazzed up. And he's talking with one of his other friends, and I run by. I'm glistening with sweat. I'm exercising. And as I pass him and his friend, I hear him, in my ears, with my hearing, I hear him say, That boy has his shirt off and referring to the B-man. Damn right I do. I just mogged you. First time ever getting mogged by another boy who's a man. The B-man, barely. I'm mogged toddlers, mothers, husbands, grandparents, pets, dogs. Everybody's seen me topless on this block, and it makes me giddy. What are you going to do about it? You going to tell me to put a shirt on? Nah. No, you're not. Because you ain't got the balls to tell your neighbor to put your shirt on. And be honest, you like it. You like the view of the B-man when I've done a 4-mile run and I'm glistening, sweat just dripping down my shoulders. All right, enough of that. This ugly visual. Maybe I'll be a tank top guy. I got this at Goodwill. Also got a Derek Jeter card. Untouchable Talents. 1 out of 90 packs. SPX. Year 2000. All right, enough of that. You can say no. I encourage you all to say no more often than you're doing. And I need to heed that advice as well because I hardly ever say no. I'll just not respond to your text message and hope you forget about whatever it is you asked me to do for you. The people who are asking for your time and your precious hours on an off day on a weekend, gotta go suck a fat one. Go suck a fat one. You invite me to a baptism? No one's invited me to a baptism. If they were, though, to invite the B-man to a baptism, I'm no showing. I'm not... You're a baby. Your brain is mush. You're not even one. And you're expecting me to go to some church on a Saturday or Sunday in June, one of my 2 off days during the week, to watch you, a priest, dip your head in a bucket of water? Ain't wasting my Saturday for your child's baptism. 3rd birthday, he doesn't even know my name. Wedding, I have a buddy of mine who's getting married in the winter, and he and his fiance, they have 2 weddings the next 2 weeks. Ridiculous. Say no. Your time is precious. Saturday, Sunday, we talk about this all the time. Whatever it is, my job, I get Saturday, Sunday. Maybe you get different Monday, Tuesday. Whatever days you have off, people are coming for it. People are coming for those open windows that you have, and they're trying to fill those windows with engagements, and they're doing so with guilt. They're using your emotions against you to do whatever it is that person wants you to do. There's a birthday party, a graduation party, barbecue, reunion. Just hey, we're gonna watch UFC, or whatever. There's some sporting event. Go Knicks, go New York, go world champs. Whatever it is, people are trying to suck your time away from you. You could say no. You don't have to come up with an excuse either. Someone wants you to go to a wedding. Someone wants you to let's go pick some cherries and tomatoes or what? We'll go down to the farm. No. The carnival? No, I'm afraid of heights. I'm not going to the carnival with you. It's not that I don't like you, or even that I don't. It's not that I don't enjoy your company. I just enjoy my time more than I enjoy you and our company together. See, that is a follow-up to a no. When someone asks you to come to an engagement, they give you an invitation for a Saturday afternoon, and then you say no. When that person says, well, why not? Why can't you attend? Are you busy? Your answer should be no. My Saturday is free. I enjoy you. I enjoy sharing your company. Do know, though, that I enjoy my free time and my own company more than I enjoy you and your company. So I'll hang out with you when I want to hang out with you, not when you ask me or you send an invitation to me to share our time together when it's my free time. Just no. You could say no. You could punch somebody in the face. Not where we don't advocate for violence here at Verbal Graffiti. You can't punch somebody in the face. If you have a political enemy, you don't have to debate that other enemy of yours. You could assassinate him or her, he or she. That is honestly, that's the best way to win at politics, is to assassinate your competition. It's much more effective than debating, trying to win the hearts and minds of voters. If you just eliminate the competition, you win by default. These are actions you could take. These are on the table for you. Again, we can't advise you to assassinate, to get rid of your political enemies or even your personal enemies if you're not even involved in politics. But we can let you know that is an option. And hey, if I'm friends with you, if you're a viewer of Verbal Graffiti and you go out and you eliminate an enemy of yours, political or not, I'll lie for you on the oath. I'll turn my head. I didn't see anything. It is an option. You can punch somebody in the face. You can eliminate an opponent by taking their life. You could say no. Take control of your life, of your time, and do your best. I know it's difficult to do. Today, I felt myself getting into a funk. B-Man, why are you getting into a funk? You're in PTO. You just went for a run. You get to film Verbal Graffiti. And I kind of got down in the pitch a little bit. The armpits, I shaved my armpits. This shirt stinks, by the way. I've been wearing it, filming the last 3 days. And I thought I wouldn't have to wash it because it's a low hole. So my armpit stink, I thought would not get on the tank top, but it has. So I'm going to have to wash this shirt. Very frustrating. I thought the whole point of tank tops was to show your guns, show the biceps, but also to not get that pit stinky smell right here in the t-shirt. I thought that's why you wore the tank top. But my pits are so stinky that the armpit stink has gotten onto the tank top, and I'm going to have to wash and dry it. Because I don't like air drying my clothing. It gets stiff, so I like to put it in the dryer. I like softness. Even like my penis sometimes when it's soft. Yeah, Mr. Perfect, my penis. Hey, he's a gamer when he's erect. Don't sleep on him, though, when he's soft. He's fun. He's fun to touch when he's soft. I probably touch my Mr. Perfect, my penis, more when he's soft than when he's stiff, erect. Two different kinds of touch. All right, enough with my penis. But you can say no. You can say no, and you should say no more often. Many babes say no to the B-Man. Why can't I say no to others? People who try to steal my time. All right, let's move forward. This next one comes from the subreddit, conventionally unattractive people deserve reparations. So recently I just posted on here about how conventionally attractives are evil. And I might have to take I might have taken it a little far, but I hope we can all agree on this one. Us conventionally unattractive people deserve reparations. We have been discriminated against since the beginning of mankind. We are bullied, overlooked, not taken seriously, judged, killed, abused, and so much more. And the whole rise of the black pill shit too. I've taken the black pill. We deserve, all capital letters here, we deserve reparations from the conventionally attractives. That would be me. I don't want to pay you reparations. Reading forward. Okay. We deserve both monetary reparations and head over heels treatment. When conventionally unattractive person is speaking, when when a conventionally unattractive person is speaking, you shut the fuck up and listen to them and ask no questions about it. Another thing, all the people who you would consider ugly today were considered attractive back then. Do what you will with that information. Is that true? Because I don't think it is. The uglies of today were the pretties of yesteryear. I don't know how that jives. How does that make sense? How does the table of elements, how does that... I don't know. I don't know anything about gene editing, although I am pro-eugenics. Moving on to your gripe. But you want reparations? Fine. You can have your reparations, but you're going to have to get in line behind the black people. The black community, they're first in line for reparations. Once they get their reparations, then other groups can start clamoring, debating, chanting, protesting for their reparations. But if you're going to try to jump the line ahead of the blacks and then say that your community deserves reparations before the blacks get them in America, I'm not of either community because I'm an attractive and I'm also not a black. Well, but I'm pretty sure the blacks are going to get pretty damn upset with the uglies if the uglies try to jump them in line for reparations. So take it up with the blacks as an unattractive. Especially, actually, an unattractive black would probably say, yeah, I'm first in line with whoever gets the win, whoever gets reparations first. The uglies are the the uglies are the blacks. Well, I'm on ugly black, so I win chicken dinner for me. Give me my paycheck, government. You're not wrong. Everything you say is not. I kind of find myself nodding. Now, if you get past the blacks and you're at the front of the line, the case you make is a strong one. Like of all the groups, of all the types of people in the world, and let's just say the United States for this argument, there's probably no group that's treated worse than the unattractives. That's a common theme here at Verbal Graffiti. If you're an unattractive, you're invisible. Nobody wants anything to do with you. If they can't go through the self-checkout line and they have to see you in the checkout line, it pains them as an attractive to have to look at an unattractive as they check out their groceries. Because most grocery checkers are unattractives. At least in current day. Maybe yesteryear they were attractive. Right now, though, they're unfuckable. Or barely fuckable. So you're not wrong. The uglies, the unattractives, are not treated as well as the attractives. And you're absolutely right. All people listen. Something about humans. We do listen to attractives much more intently than we do unattractives or even just so-so looking. But a legit 9 or 10 will garner the attention of an entire room. And I've seen it countless times since I've done stand-up comedy. It never fails. When a hot babe gets on stage for the first time that nobody in the audience knows, the audience will shut the fuck up and listen to what that babe has to say. Oftentimes, it's a babe in her early to mid-20s, maybe 30, just dolled up. But obviously, that's an attractive babe. It could be a terrible mic. It could be a terrible show. It could be a show where everyone's drunk and not paying attention. But that babe gets on stage, especially if she's all dolled up in a skirt and all that jazz, the room will get quiet and listen to her. Same, too, with a hot guy. Like a hot Chad who's a 9 or 10. Although there are so few attractive men that I haven't seen many in stand-up comedy, but the handful that I have, when they get on stage, they're 6'3", they're muscular, they got the good skin, the V-taper, the nice, faded facial hair, right? Good hairline, all that, blue eyes. He looks like a Greek god when that type gets on stage, same as the hot babe on stage, the audience will get quiet and listen. There's just something about a symmetrically even person that is humans. We're drawn to human beauty. That's not just a B-man thing. It's not just a horny guy thing. It's humans. When somebody's attractive, we listen. So you're not wrong. You're not wrong to say the unattractives are have a more challenging go of it in life than the attractives. And many times my mom has told me, get with an ugly. Or maybe your friends say, get with a chubby. Get with a marshmallow. Because she's overweight, she's not attractive, whatever. Her face is all mangled. But, she'll be faithful to you, B-man, because she has less options available to her. So if you can fall in love with the marshmallow of a human being, she'll stay faithful to you. But what my mom doesn't realize, and what many people who give this advice about lower your standards, get with an ugly, get with an unattractive. It's what's on the inside that matters. My rebuttal to that is, but the unattractives' lives are not as fun as the attractives. Therefore, they're not in their mood. Their general demeanor is not as positive as an attractive person. We all know this. The unattractives they're out there clamoring for reparations instead of living their life. But now let's get to we're at the table. Let's get to negotiating right now. You're an ugly. The leader of the uglies, of the unattractive, they're at the table. They want reparations. I am the judge. I am the one who determines whether or not our community is going to have to pay taxes, whether some of our taxes are going to go to the unattractives. I'm willing to give the unattractives reparations. If you're over the age of 18, you should get reparations. I'll warrant you that. But I'm not giving you the money without any stipulations. All right? If I'm going to give you reparations for being unattractive, you got to use those reparations to make yourself more attractive. Right? There should be a board of people, a board of directors, a jury of your peers who will look at you and unattractive and tell you where you need to put the money towards. Whether it's lip filler, a custom titch, a BBL, a liposuction, a facelift, a hair transplant. If you're a short guy, that one where they cut your legs and make you 3 inches taller. Whatever it is. I don't know, Botox. You got what is the labia surgery that makes your labia look more firm and younger? Whatever it is, whatever's mangled on your body, a jury of your peers has to say, all right, we'll give you $10,000, but that $10,000 has to go towards custom tits. Right? I'm not giving you reparations without any stipulations. Because if I give you $10,000 a month reparations, many of the unattractives are going to use that money to become more unattractive. Right? You're going to spend that money on family-sized bags of Doritos from Walmart. You're going to buy a bunch of trash, junk food. You're going to spend the money on all-inclusive resorts, to the Bahamas, where you're going to drink and eat all day and gain a bunch of weight there. America's already ugly. We're probably, 70% of us are overweight, obese, look like marshmallows. The average height for guys is 5'9". The average penis is 5.5. Most guys are probably walking around with a peen under 5 inches. That's undignified. The babes, good luck. good luck finding somebody who's not, on the verge of diabetes. And we're ugly. Honestly, we need more attractives in America. That's kind of why I'm pro-ICE. Because anytime I see the ICE taking somebody from the street and deporting them, it's usually an ugly guy. I'm yet to see a hot babe get cuffed by an ICE agent and taken away. I mean, that should be what Trump should be putting in the law right now. And all the illegals that are ugly, deported. The pretty ones, the attractives, the fuckables, you can stay. But if you're ugly, if the group of our peers deems you unattractive, gone. Get on a raft. Get the fuck back to wherever you're from. Go suck a fat one. But the pretties, you can stay. I'd estimate 92% of immigrants in this. No, I'm not going to get into speculations because I think darker skinned babes are hotter than the whites. But that is the thing. We already have too many uglies, unattractives in America. So if I'm giving you reparations, fine. I'll gladly do so. I'll give you reparations before I give the blacks their reparations. You got to get surgery, though. You got to get cosmetic surgery. I'm of the belief right now that insurance companies should cover cosmetic surgery. Because as I mentioned, 75% of Americans are unattractive. And unattractives are treated less fairly than attractives. So I can make the case, the argument, that if insurance companies covered cosmetic surgeries, the people paying for that insurance would be happier, treated better, probably get paid more money from their employer in the long run. But those are my terms of engagement. Are you willing to sign on the dotted line? Here are your reparations. But you might have to get a facelift with that money. Are you willing to undergo the 6 months of rehab and any permanent scars that may come with that? And do know that those scars still make you more attractive than you already are. I think that's fair. I think that's the only way reparations should be allowed for the unattractives. Let's go look at something. Episode 248, segment 2. Remember to like, subscribe. Be careful, though, before you subscribe to Verbal Graffiti, because if you do know that is a lifelong endeavor. That is until death do us part, and that subscription will last longer than your life, till your last day, because your YouTube account will last longer than however long you live. So when you subscribe to Verbal Graffiti, that subscription will stay with me long after your death. And that's how I want it. Right? I only want the subscriptions of the real ones, of the day ones, the ones who take the vow, the ride or die, that will bail me out of jail. I'll also bail you out of jail. We'll lie to each other to get out of any crimes that you or I commit. If you're unfaithful with whoever your lover is. We were playing PS5 together. We were playing little Cyberpunk 2077 when you were getting busy with somebody you should not have been getting busy with. But that's the kind of subscribers we're building here at Verbal Graffiti. Alright, so when you subscribe, do know. I'm not saying we're a gang. We're not going to beat you up if you decide you want to leave. We will dox you, though, and do everything within our power, legally, to ruin your life. But we do want those subscriptions. So, just subscribe. And if you're a hot babe, suck Mr. Perfect, my penis. Moving forward, we have a witch on my block. She's on my street, a few doors down. She's married. Her and her husband their looks adjacent. They're definitely both attractive. Stacy, Chad. They're not, the babe, she's not up to like gooning standard for the B-man, but I definitely acknowledge, hey, although she's a witch, she won't wave to me, and she has kids, so they're often in the front yard playing, and doing kids activities, and I'll walk by. She never waves. Whenever we're walking, when we're crisscrossing, and she's kind of has to make eye contact with the bee man, I feel the pain in her that she's feeling when she has to make eye contact with me. It's that palpable. I've hardly said a word to this babe. I don't know, 5, 10 years she's been on this block. But I could sense there's an anger that she has to see me. More than just once every blue moon, that I'm somewhat regularly have to be seen because we live somewhat close to each other. And I feel that anger festering from her. I call her a witch because she'll never wave at me. Now, you do know that I'm a panty sniffer. I enjoy sniffing the panties of babes that I've been intimate with. Their panties that I've taken off of them. I don't buy panties from unknown babes on the internet. Right? I only sniff the panties of babes I've been intimate with. Right? That's how I fuck with panty sniffing. Now, if you buy used panties, unwashed panties from strangers on the internet from a foreign country, I'm not going to point the finger at you. I'm just stating how I prefer to sniff my panties. The panties, I feel as though those are earned. And those are earned, not bought. And that's why I feel as though my panty sniffing is at a higher level than most other Johns who have the kink of sniffing panties. Because anybody can buy dirty panties to sniff. But it takes a real panty sniffer to go out and get a pair of panties from a babe you know. Right? So, where the fuck was I going with that? All right. So this is how these two, witch in my neighborhood, panty sniffer, this is how it all comes together. A few months ago, maybe a couple months ago at this point, I noticed her walking around the block. I was also walking in the opposite direction. And of course, I looked back at her as we crossed because she's a babe. Although she is a witch, and I don't enjoy her presence in this neighborhood either, the B-man's going to look at an ass. That's just what the B-man's going to do. So I look around, and I noticed she had a panty line. She was not wearing a thong, and that's my preference. I prefer my babes wear thongs or G-strings or something scandalous. And she was clearly wearing a bikini, somewhere between a bikini to granny panties. That's where the panty line was lined up on her butt cheeks. And it made me sad. And that's it. It made me sad. This is a hot babe. She's married. Has a couple kids. And I equate wearing a bikini or granny panties with giving up on being feminine. When you make that transition from wearing a thong to wearing anything less revealing, less revealing than a thong, you're giving up on your sexuality, on your femininity, because few things are as feminine as a nice lace cotton thong. So when I saw her, it's still attractive, but she was this witch in my neighborhood, knowing I never knew what kind of panties this babe wears. But now it's so evident that I've seen her panty lines this one time that she wears bikini or something less revealing than bikini underwear. And that made me feel sad for herself, for her husband, for her family, and for me. Most importantly, me. We need more babes in this world, especially the attractive ones, wearing thongs. You're doing the world an injustice if you're an attractive babe and you're not wearing thongs. Just something to think about next time you go to Victoria's Secret or wherever you get your undergarments. Just something to think about. Because I've been thinking about, it's not on my mind, but it's been on my mind to talk about this neighbor's underwear on Verbal Graffiti. All right, moving forward. All right, this next one comes from, yes, it is on, okay. This is actually not from Reddit. This is an advertisement I think I found on X. Maybe, I don't know where, but somehow it came on my feed in one of the social medias. I took a snapshot of it, and it's of a Delta Delta newspaper advertisement from the 1970s, where most of these smut sleaze literature books, most of these are from the 1970s. And this advertisement as well is from Delta from the 1970s. And if you're listening, the advertisement goes to the guy who's got a girl in every city. Delta will fly you there at 50% off. And then there are 6 pictures of 6 babes, all white, just pointing that out. And all like Miami, LA, New York, Chicago. Delta is ready when you are. The B-Man, I'm ready. What happened? What happened to America? What happened to this nation? That's the hacky take. Anytime there's a photo or an image or a video, or like this, an advertisement from the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, it really does look like a different nation. And that is kind of hacky thing. What happened? America, we used to be so beautiful. Why can't we use sex in advertisements anymore? Personally, I have a vendetta against Delta because I'm a fan of the Yankees. And if you've been to the new Yankee Stadium, which isn't really new anymore, the new Yankee Stadium opened in 2009. So, we're going on 17, 18 years now with this stadium. I think we can remove the word new from Yankee Stadium. But if you have been to the latest reincarnation of Yankee Stadium, in the outfield, we call it Yankee Stadium. It's called Yankee Stadium. But in the outfield, there is a Delta sign, advertisement, just the word Delta, but the letters are larger than the letters Yankee Stadium. So if you didn't know any better and you walked into Yankee Stadium for the first time, you would assume it was Delta Stadium because the Delta advertisement, the word Delta is the largest advertisement in the stadium. And it mogs the words Yankee Stadium in the outfield. And since I'm a Yankee fan, and I believe the stadium should be called Yankee Stadium, although I'm not putting my money where my mouth is, not that I have much money to put in my mouth, I have a vendetta against Delta. That vendetta is a bit warmed. It's a bit weakened when I see an advertisement, knowing they put up advertisements like this in their past. That this is part of their history. Because I do like this history. I do like this advertisement, even though I don't have a girl. I don't have a babe in every city that I'm flying to. I don't have a babe in my hometown to love and care for, and to be cared and loved for. So like this advertisement, it's not for me. But if you were living in the 70s and you were John with a second family or a third or some mistresses, you lived that JFK lifestyle back in the day, this advertisement is for you. And it should be for you. And a lot of people are going to say the reason why we can't have advertisements like this, with saying, hey, there's babes in every city. Use our airline. We'll fly you out so you can cheat on your lover, whoever you're with at the current day. And they'll say, well, it's because of feminism and wokeness and political correctness, whatever terminology or philosophy you'll want to use. I think it's a bit deeper than that, though. Or maybe not deeper, just... I believe the reason why airlines don't have advertisements like this Delta one from the 70s in the year 2026 is because we've allowed uglies to fly, on the planes to fly. Nationally or across international flights as well. When there was that argument, and I believe this started maybe in the 90s, maybe in the early 2000s, when the argument of when Americans started getting so obese that there was a swell, a movement to have heavier set passengers have to pay for 2 seats because of how much space they take up with their body. When that argument was allowed to be had, that's when the airlines lost. Just having that argument, you lose. See, because flying is only meant for the beautiful and the wealthy. Those are the only two groups of people that should be flying. In most cases, you should have to be in both categories. Like flying used to be for the beautiful and wealthy. And as soon as we allowed the debate to be had, well, if you're at a certain level of obesity or a certain number of pounds, you should have to buy a second seat. You've already lost. You've lost the battle. Because if you're letting obese people on your plane, even if they have to buy 2 tickets, you're conceding that flying your airline is no longer for the wealthy and the beautiful. That you're letting the comments, the unattractive on your airline. And allowing that, right? Opening up the gate, allowing the not wealthy, the not attractives onto your airlines, it's made flying it's made flying, what's the term? A nuisance. It's made flying a nuisance instead of an enjoyable, memorable experience to be cherished with your loved ones that are also beautiful and wealthy, because that's how families usually are. You're either all beautiful and wealthy, or none of you are. And once we've allowed the uglies on, or once these airlines, not me, like if I had an airline, there would be no uglies on it. There would be no poor people. I actually think, I think fitness, I don't know what they're called, like gyms, fitness centers, fitness clubs, communities have taken the place of the airlines from the 1970s. Because in the 1970s, you had to be fit, wealthy, attractive, have money to fly. So flying was an experience, and all the flight attendants, the stewardesses, they were all firm and fit and not obese and were pleasant to deal with. Honestly, flight attendants today, if you're above a size 6, you should not be allowed to be a flight attendant. That's a rule I would institute if I was the CEO of Delta. That'd be my first memo to the company. All flight attendants above a size 6, fired. You are no longer employed here at Delta. That's what I would do if I was the CEO of Delta. But I am not. But the 70s, that was a community. That was a country club, right? Where the pretties and the wealthy can go to congregate together. You really can't do that in the year 2026. But what has taken the place are those fitness communities, centers, gymnasiums that have a very high annual fee to be part of, or a monthly fee. You know those gymnasiums where it's $500 a month? Right? Most people can't afford $500 a month for their fitness gymnasium. The only people who can afford that are the people who really care about the way they look, or people who have enough money to pay that exorbitant fee. So if you're able to get into those fitness gyms that cost $500 a month, most of the clientele there are young, attractive, fit, wealthy people. Yeah, that is the country club of 2026. You used to have that in the skies, but the skies lost that battle. So the pretty and the wealthy, they've migrated to these fitness centers. And it's frustrating to me because look at my newly arms. And look how much money I'm not making here at Verbal Graffiti. I can't go to those fitness centers. I don't have enough money for those $500 fee to be able to get a sniff of those hot babes in the neon, neon biker yoga pants and wear the sports bra for a top. I don't get to see those, because I don't meet the metrics to get in that door, to get into that scene. But I want Delta and American and all these airlines to recapture what they once were. Spirit Airline went out of business, I believe. I don't really know of any airlines that went out of business in the 70s. And the reason being, I have to think is because all the flight attendants were attractive, as were most of the patrons flying during that decade. If there was an airline right now, let's say it's Delta, that told us we're only hiring attractive flight attendants, I'd pay 50% more for a ticket. It was American for 100 or Delta for 200, but I knew Delta, they were going to have hot, attractive babes as their flight attendants. I'd pay the extra. I'd pay double for that if I had the money. But again, a lot of us don't have the money. So that's what I say. I would pay the extra money, but when it came down to it, I probably don't have the money for it because we're not making much money here at Verbal Graffiti. So I'd have to get on the ugly airline and fly with all of you. I don't want to do that. That's why I put out 2 episodes a week, because I'm trying to gain a following and make enough money so that I can congregate with the wealthy and the beautiful. But how the war is not over. We lost the battle. We lost the battle of the skies. We let the uglies, the unattractives, fly and be employed by those airlines. But we can win the war. We can win the war. I don't know how, but Delta, someone in the marketing department at Delta, just go online, go on Instagram, find all the baddies, invite them out to wherever your headquarters is at Delta, have a photo shoot, plaster hot babes on your advertisements in Delta. You'll have a quarter, stock market quarter like you've never had. You won't have the last time you had a quarter of those profits was when you put this advertisement out. That's what I would do. Right? Hot babes on my Delta advertisements and hot babes as my flight attendants if I was in charge of Delta. Go suck a fat one.